Oh yeah baby, we're back. You guys loved the last comparison and I'm even more excited for this one because I've personally experienced 2CB and acid over 10 times each. Which means there's some juicy stuff in here I've gathered from my trips as well as online. Before we get started, I want to very quickly say that this video is made for educational purposes and I do not promote anyone use these substances. I'm just sharing information about them so people have a better idea of what they're getting into so we can all be safer as a result. We've all heard that 2CB is kind of like if acid and MDMA had a baby. Ah, look how cute it is. Yes, you are. Now, this is quite accurate in my experience, but only really at low to common doses. At higher doses, 2CB becomes much more like acid in terms of its power and trippiness. Though it still doesn't really reach the mental effects and headspace of an LSD trip unless you're taking higher doses. It also doesn't last nearly as long, which overall makes 2CB a lot more recreational than acid since it's typically easier to handle. Low doses, we're talking less than 20 mg, can be great for sex and bonding with others, since the trip will have some empathogenic qualities, but having said that, taking 2CB at something like a party is still probably a bad idea because you're going to be tripping and it can make socializing very difficult and anxiety inducing. This drug is not MDMA, always treat it with respect because it can still be very powerful. When it comes to visuals, both 2CB and acid have stimulating effects, so as expected, they're both more likely to give you 8A over 8B geometry. If you want to know the difference between the two, I'll leave you a link above and below. Both tend to look pretty cartoony and I've noticed that 2CB visuals are a lot more static with less movement, but on the other side they seem to be more colourful and rainbowy than acid visuals, which are typically more complex and in your face, probably coming from the increased headspace. This next thing comes purely from my own experiences and I haven't read it anywhere online, so take it with a grain of salt, maybe even add some pepper. But to me, 2CB visuals have a higher viscosity than acid visuals. If you know what high viscosity means, then you're probably used to thickness, you legends. But for the rest of us who definitely didn't have to look it up, acid visuals feel more like water or olive oil, whilst 2CB is more like honey. It's super important to note though that these descriptions are general trends rather than objective facts. Despite acid usually being more intense, people tend to feel a stronger body high on 2CB, especially during the come up where it sometimes also comes with a bit of nausea. Don't worry, it should go away once you peak. Overall, if you want a life-changing spiritual trip, I'd say acid is probably the way to go unless you're exploring new territory, taking a stronger dose of 2CB and or combining it with something like weed. Thanks for watching, awesome people. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe and check out some of our other videos. Peace!